Hello, and welcome to the Clover Online Store. Today, I'll show you how a merchant can discover the Clover Online Store app, add it to their account, and quickly launch an online store to add to their business. We see here the home screen for the Clover merchant. This is a sporting goods merchant, and they have inventory in their Clover system. So you can see here in the Clover inventory app, we have football, ping pong table, and soccer ball, 20 of each item. This merchant will discover the Clover Online Store app in the Clover App Store. They can install the application, and when they do install the application, we authenticate their account in the background. The merchant is put into the setup checklist for the online store, and now you'll see the checklist is designed to make setup very simple for the merchant. This is significant because many merchants don't have time to spare, might be intimidated by the idea of building a store online, or they may not have a lot of technical skills. So we try to make this process as simple and easy for the merchant as possible. We have a very simple setup checklist. We highlight each step we want the merchant to go through, and it's very clear exactly what the merchant should be doing every step of the way. The first step here is to review the online account information. We've gone ahead and imported the information from Clover already, so we've gone and saved the merchant that work. We also have assigned the merchant a URL for their store that's intuitive and based on their business name. So in this case, I've named the business Sports New. It'll be a sporting goods store, and the URL is just the storename.mycloveronline.com. So in this case, it's sports-new.mycloveronline.com. Now if the merchant wants to use a different URL, they can do that. If they don't like this part, the subdomain, they can change that to anything they want as long as we don't already have a merchant using it as part of the Clover Online Store. Or if the merchant already owns a domain, let's say they own sports.com, they can use that domain along with the Clover Online Store as well by entering it here. For now, I'm just going to leave the domain as it is and move on to business hours. We've created a very simple format for merchants to let their customers know what days and times their brick and mortar stores are open. My store is open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, so I'm going to reflect that here with my business hours. For merchants that are closed on certain days, they'll simply click the corresponding trash can to indicate that day off. Alright, so I'll save my changes, click Save here, and move on to the next step. Now, if I were launching a brochure site only, I could skip this step of enabling e-commerce and move ahead to customizing the design. But in this case, I'm going to set up an e-commerce store, so I'm going to go ahead and toggle on e-commerce. The first step here is to review products. And again, we've gone ahead and imported the products for the merchant from Clover Inventory. So you'll see here we've already provided the merchant with the same products that you saw in Clover Inventory previously. That's the ping pong table with the same price and quantity, football, and the soccer ball. The quantity is the same because, as you'll see later in this demo, we tied together stock counts through the Clover Inventory app so that the merchant can just maintain a single stock count in one place. There's a little bit of work that the merchant needs to do to get this ready for the online store. Clover doesn't currently have the concept of product descriptions or product images, which is something that you need for a website. So in this case, the merchant will need to add some descriptions. In this case, I'll just put in something very simple. And we'll also want to add some images. Here's my image, which you can see I loaded through the file finder on my computer. Here's the price, here's the quantity. If the merchant wants to change those, they'll need to go back into Clover Inventory, but we can enter the weight here, which will be important if the merchant wants to do weight-based shipping, say for heavier items. The merchant will choose if the product is taxable. The merchant chooses whether the product is taxable, just because sales tax rules differ from jurisdiction to jurisdiction as far as which products may or not be taxed. And you'll see the box here for active products, and that means that we do want to show this product online. There may be some instances where merchants want a product or has a product available for sale in the retail location, but may not want to show it online. If they don't want to show it online, just uncheck that box. But we'll leave it checked. We'll go ahead and save the ping pong table. And we'll quickly do the same thing for the football. Very quickly add a description. If I want to format it, I can do that nice and easy up here. Very intuitive tools that most merchants should be familiar with. Very easy. Go ahead and add this photo. Click Save. And then we'll just finish up with the soccer ball and we'll be all set with our products. And here we go. Now we'll go back to setup and we'll go to the next step. So the next thing will be to set up shipping. In this case, I'll show you how to add a shipping rate. We enable the merchant to send anywhere in the world. You can see that the merchant can set up shipping for any place in the world. By default, it's set to the United States. That's because we assume that the merchant will be shipping within the country. We don't want the merchant to be surprised and have to ship goods halfway around the world if they're not expecting to. We have different options for ways to set up shipping: flat rate, by order total, by order weight. And within that, there's a way to do different permutations to get the options that they want as the merchant. So I'll show you an example with flat rate shipping here. Here I'm going to set up standard and express shipping. The first that I'll set up will be standard shipping. I'll charge $10 for my standard shipping, and we encourage the merchant to provide consumers with an estimated delivery time so that consumers have a sense for how long each shipping option will take. And there you go, there's my first shipping rate. And I'll go ahead and show another one. We'll do express shipping. Charge a little bit more for that, say $20, and that'll be 1 day. And there you go. As simple as that, we've now put in standard shipping and express shipping rates. We'll return to setup, and the next step will be to set up sales tax. Here I'll go ahead and set up a Maryland sales tax since that's where I'm located. Sales tax in Maryland is 6%. We'll just explain where we want the sales tax to apply. We want this to apply to consumers who are shopping in Maryland. We can choose, again, various jurisdictions to jurisdiction, whether or not we want the tax to apply to shipping charges. Click Save, and there you go. Now, if this merchant also had physical locations, say in DC or Virginia, where there would need to be sales tax as well, all the merchant would need to do would be to add another tax rate in the same way that we just added the Maryland sales tax. Now I'm just going to return to setup. So that brings us to our last step before we design the store. Merchants will have to select a refund policy. This could be as simple as selecting that they don't have a return policy, but we'll still need them to indicate that for the consumer. So we'll go ahead and click Configure here. And then from this screen, you'll select one of two options. If they don't have a refund policy, merchants will simply check the corresponding bubble next to No Returns or Refunds, All Sales are Final, and then click Save. And if they don't have a refund policy, that's it. Now if they do have a refund policy, then click the bubble next to I want to create a refund policy. This will bring down the fields where you'll create your refund policy. Now we'll fill in the fields with the information that is right for me. So I'm going to have a refund policy that allows returns within 30 days and requires a receipt. I will also elect to cover the shipping charges and will refund customers' purchases in cash. So I'll reflect all those options here. And then when I'm done, I'll click Save, and we'll go back to the setup and start to design our store. So I'm going to go ahead and click Select Theme down here to get started. This is our theme library where we have a variety of different themes designed to fit just about any type of merchant. I'm going to select this theme. Now you'll see on the page we have a lot of different elements of the page that are outlined in these dashed lines. Those are the elements of the page that the merchant is able to customize. When I hover over one of those, there's dashed lines turn into a green highlight. That alerts the merchant as to which item they've selected, and they can go ahead and edit. All you need to do to edit is to click on that area, and you'll get a dialog box which shows you what your options are to make changes. This is very much a what you see is what you get type of approach. So if I wanted to say change the menu items, let's say I wanted to make shopping more prominent, then contact us, I can just drag it and slide it, click save, and then you see the changes already taken place right in front of you. I'm just going to go ahead and make a couple of other changes to show you the types of things that you can do. Here I want to put my own logo in. Now I just have the text logo, so I'm going to go ahead and put a text logo in to replace the one that came with the theme. If I want to format it by changing the font, changing the size, I can change the color. I can do all that, and I'll just click save. And there you go. So it's all very simple for the merchant. If I want to change the image on the page, I'll do the same thing. I'll click on the area, and I'll put in the new image. I'll see it load. Click save. And there you go. To change text, again, very simple. Just click in the box here, type in the new text, click save, and again, you see the changes as you go. Now let's say I didn't have the need for some of the text or some of the images on the page. I can just take those out too. So here I'm going to click on this area, toggle off the text, click save, and that text is now gone. Now the merchant will see this box to remind the merchant there is room to put text in there if they change their mind later, but consumers won't see that when they shop from the store. And you'll see that in just a few minutes when we launch. If I want to change a button, I can do that. Click save. Again, you see it all happen right in front of you, which makes it very easy and intuitive for the merchant. Now I'm going to quickly customize the rest of the page. Remove this section. And we'll put in our products instead of these kind of placeholder images that we have. And again, I'm just doing this in the same way that I just showed you for the other areas of the page. I can change where these items linked, these images or text links by using the drop down from the menu here. So this one I want to link to my football. I want to change this text. And again, I want to link to my product. And again, I'll just add the rest of my products. And you get the sense for how quick and easy this can be. Even with no technical skills, again, very easy, very simple, very straightforward. All right, just add the last product here. Link here, save this. Make sure we're linking to the correct product here. And there we go. I'm just going to turn off this other area of the page and we're pretty much there. We basically have our home page customized. If I want to do more, I could, but in the interest of time for this demo, I just want to get to the store launch. So I'll just close out these last couple of areas and I won't bother changing it further. If I wanted to customize other pages on the site, I could. Selecting them from this drop-down. I can also add a new customized page right there. For example, if I wanted to have an About Us page. Now I'm just going to go ahead and save this and I'm going to hit publish. And we're going to go back to setup. And we're ready to launch. So let's go ahead and launch. And now let's visit it. So here you go. This is the website that we just created. It's live on the web. So for the merchant perspectives, customers can now come in and shop. This is a nice professional looking site that lists the products and that users will be able to buy products from. It's a good representation for the merchants, so regardless of whether the consumers plan to shop online and make the purchase online, or whether the consumer is just browsing online and wants to go into a brick and mortar store to make a purchase, this is something nice and inviting for the consumer. It's a professional representation for the merchant, and so it will help the merchant stay relevant with their customers and generate new customers. So now why don't we go ahead and make a purchase, and I'll show you how this all ties back to Clover. So we'll just go ahead and buy the football. Click checkout. Enter the customer information here. So now I'm in the shoes of a consumer checking out, and you'll see we have the shipping in here based on the standard shipping option, which is the default. If I wanted express shipping as a consumer, I can select that, and you can see this has the same settings that we put in motion when setting it all up. The sales taxes have been calculated, so we'll go ahead and make our purchase. And there we go. All right, now we'll go back into the shoes of the merchant, and we'll go to our dashboard. So this is what the merchant would see. The consumer's made the purchase. This is now what becomes basically the merchant homepage, the admin panel for the Clover Online store. It has all the basic information about the account, settings, products, and so on. It's a nice place for the merchant to go and branch out from wherever they need to from here. You can see we also have an alert that a new order has been received, and the merchant also would have received an email to make them aware of the order as well. Here's the orders page where the merchant would see a list of all the orders that have come through the Clover Online store. You'll see all of the important information regarding the order here, including the order history, and you'll note that this order was sent to Clover when it came. So this is where the integration starts to tie in for the merchant on the other end. We showed you at the start how we import information from Clover for the merchants, including the merchant's business information and products. Here now, when orders come in, then the Clover Online store will export information back into Clover so that the merchant can manage their business in one place, that being Clover. So we'll see here, this is back to the merchant's Clover home screen. Here's the Clover Orders app, and you'll see this is the online order that we just placed in the Clover Online store, and it has been imported into the Clover Orders app. It's indicated as pending shipment. That's because the merchant hasn't shipped it yet. So let's say I'm the merchant, I've gone ahead and prepared this for shipping. I've shipped it. I can mark it as shipped in the online store. If I have a tracking number and carrier, I can enter it here. Instead, I'll just click save. And you'll see now we're back in the Clover Orders app. I'll hit reload, and it's been updated. It already shows that the order's been shipped. So the important thing here is that all the order information is being synced into the Clover Orders app. And that's so that the merchant can have one place to go to manage the orders for their business. And in this list, right now, you just see one order because we just had the one online order that we placed. But a typical merchant would see their online orders here as well as the orders from their brick and mortar as well. So the merchant can see everything in one place, and it makes managing the business much easier, like a true omni-channel. Like if the merchant just wanted to see their online orders only, they can do a filter based on online order, and then the merchant can see just online orders if they wanted to. The other important piece too is we manage to stock seamlessly for the merchant as well. So I'm going into the Clover Inventory app, and you'll remember we had 20 of each item before. We still have 20 each of the soccer ball and ping pong table, but we just bought one football through the online store, and that's down to 19. So now for the merchant, again, the inventory is managed in a single place, which makes managing the business much easier. The same is true for customers, as the customer information will be imported into global customers as well. And you'll see that right here. So that's the Clover Online store. It helps merchants get online quickly and easily, and also helps the merchants manage their business much more efficiently, like a true omni-channel merchant. Thank you.